Thanks, Shelley, and thanks to both of you. Music has been just amazing. Let's show our appreciation. Have you guys ever worked together like this? Been a while, a couple times maybe? Okay, well, it sounds really amazing. We're going to get more from them just a little bit later. Welcome to all of you. Oh my, there's people back there. That's kind of nice to see. It's been just sort of here in the main theater, but we've got them in the overflow now. You can start coming back, folks. It's all good, and man, that's just amazing. I miss my congregation, and I'm glad to start seeing you start filter back in. So before I get to the sermon, I've got to tell you a little story. Jill and I were in Sioux City on Friday, and we were visiting my dad. I had not been there in a number of weeks, and just aside from feeling guilty, I was also missing him. And so we went, and we had a couple of hours with him. Joe did the grocery run. I sat and visited with him. He had a list of things he wanted me to do, and so I went out on an errand. And while I was on my way, driving down Lincoln Way, which is the street that Dad lives on, about a block away from his house, I see this. Shelley, would you please? Thank you. Thank you. I see this. A lemonade stand. Well, I can't leave that one alone. So I whipped the car back around, got out, and started talking to them. And then I found out what they were really doing. Can you read the sign? I don't know if it's pretty small. It says, ice cold lemonade for Ian. I said, well, who's Ian? They said, well, Ian's our friend. He has leukemia. He's in the hospital. And we thought we'd give him a hand, him and his parents. Okay, well, I thought I was going to whip out a quarter for some lemonade, right? I just cleaned out my wallet. They just hammered me on this thing. I have to admit there wasn't much in there, but had there been a $100 bill in there, it'd be gone. It would just be gone. And then we talked a little bit longer. I gave them the link for our live stream for Sunday. And so if you guys are watching, hey, how you doing? I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're with us. And let me tell you something else, one other thing. Your love for Ian didn't just change Ian. It changed me, and it changed every single person who came to your lemonade stand that day and heard your story. You see, you weren't just 4 kids at a lemonade stand. You were Jesus in disguise. And you were loving on somebody you knew. And that love is contagious. So that's not what I was going to preach about. So the sermon's not over yet, but I just wanted to share that with you. Isn't that the spirit of Christian giving? And the way Christian giving begets more giving and more giving and more giving. We are just taken up. Love is contagious, and it has a way of infecting others. Probably infection is not a great metaphor these days, but let it stand. What I was going to do this morning is share a song with you, and I'm actually not going to sing. You can thank me later. Instead, I'm going to have these guys sing in a minute, but it's a song. It's not a religious song. It comes from the movie Waitress. Any of you seen this? Not the movie, excuse me, the musical. Anybody seen this? It's a story about a young woman by the name of Jenna and all of the unseen heartache in her life. What people see is that Jenna is a waitress, and she's a good one. And Jenna is a baker, and her pies are the best of the best. And that's what everyone sees. But to Jenna, what everybody sees is a mystery to her, because she is not the person she used to be, and certainly not the person she wants to be. Between an abusive husband and an unwanted pregnancy out of that marriage, she is lost, and she is alone, and she is not her own person. And so, yes, she sees that she is a waitress, and yes, she's a good one. And she sees that she's a baker and her pies are the best of the best. But she looks at herself and she doesn't recognize the shell that she has become. So would you guys sing this for us? And while they sing, listen to the words very carefully.
Not simple to say. Most days I don't recognize me, but these shoes and this apron, that place and its patrons have taken more than I gave them. It's not easy to know I'm not anything like I used to be. It's true, I was never attention, sweet center. I still remember that girl. She's imperfect, but she tries. She is good, but she lies. She is hard on herself. She is broken and won't ask for help. She is messy, but she's kind. She is lonely most of the time. She's all of this mixed up and baked in a beautiful pie. She is gone, but she used to be mine. It's not what I asked for. Sometimes life just slips in through a back door and carves out a person and makes you believe it's not true. But now I've got you. You're not what I asked for. If I'm honest, I know I would give it all back for a chance to start over and rewrite an ending or two. For the girl that I knew who'll be reckless just enough, who'll get hurt, but who learns how to toughen up when she's bruised and gets used by a man who can't love. And then she'll get stuck and be scared of the life that's inside her, growing stronger each day till it finally reminds her to fight just a little, to bring back the fire in her eyes that's been gone but used to be mine. Used to be mine. She is messy, but she's kind. She is lonely most of the time. She is all of this mixed up and baked in a beautiful pie. She is gone, but she used to be mine.
Yeah. I told them we were going to do this at Friday at 5 p.m. So thank you so much. And Tatum, thanks for showing me the song. It's a song I've heard a million times. I love the composer of the song, but I'd never listened to the words until Tatum pointed it out to me. So there's Jenna, waitress, Master baker, pies are best of the best. And then there's everything that no one sees. And she's messy, and she's kind, and she's lonely most of the time. And it's all mixed up and baked there in this beautiful pie. And she looks at that life, and the most she can probably hope for is to, as one of her coworkers says, settle for a life that's just happy enough. Let's hold that thought, and we'll have these guys sing.
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who should wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, brothers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who should wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way.
He is the one who acts as the queen's gatekeeper. So if you want to get in and have an audience with the queen, you had to go through him first, which meant that he was making basic decisions on policy. And if the queen had a message to pass to royalty elsewhere, she'd send him. He was a man of power, a man of privilege, and a man of wealth. He wore nice clothes, and I will tell you, that chariot was one fine ride. And that's what everybody sees. But to him, that life that he leads is almost unrecognizable. Because you see, his life, it's not his own. An Ethiopian eunuch, a eunuch, this is what it means. Imagine that you are a boy and you have been taken from your parents and your family. No one asked, you're just taken. And then you sit in fear, lay in fear. You can't move, you are so afraid because you are waiting. There are men all around you and they are holding you down as they are about, as someone with a knife is about to perform his awful surgery. He's messy and he's kind. And he's lonely most of the time. And it's all mixed up and baked in that beautiful pie. And the life that he leads is not his own. And all he can hope for is maybe just happy enough. Let's stop and sing again.
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who should wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who should wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way.
I should just let you guys sing and we'll bag the rest of the sermon. That was really nice. Thank you. So the story that Shelley just read, you know, when I first started this week, and literally it just sort of shaped its way throughout the week, and then Tatum comes along and ruins everything. Thank you. and so, you know, the story is where I thought it was going. We're going to talk about Philip, right? And the fact that here is Philip, this evangelist, who for the very first time is talking to someone who's outside the faith, this non-Jew. And first baptized member of the family of God, of the followers of Jesus. I thought that's where we're going. I thought we were going to talk about Philip, who is spirit-led to do all of these things, and it's a church on the move, and how baptism it becomes the gateway in. And I had all these plans, and I think not today. I mean, I've heard lots of sermons on it, preached a couple myself, but instead, let's just stay with the eunuch for a minute or two more. Because he is an interesting character. And I'd like you to focus on what he's doing. He's coming back from Jerusalem, where he has been worshiping. He's not a Jew, but he's worshiping there, and for goodness knows why. Because they won't let him into the temple. Because of his injuries, his conditions, he's not clean. And so he's doing that. And maybe while he's there, he's decided to buy a souvenir. Something in one of the marketplaces along the side of the temple in the Gentiles' court, like we talked about a week or two ago. And he picks up a holy book that's not his own. And he's on his way back home, and he starts reading. And as he's paging through it, his eye catches something that just makes him stop. It's a story about a man, as Isaiah puts it, a man of sorrows. A lamb who is about to be shaven by his shearers. And he goes uncomplaining. His mouth is stopped. It's a story about one who is despised and rejected. One who the world does not regard. And he waits in silence for the knife that is about to end his life. And you know, the eunuch is reading the story, and it catches his eye for obvious reasons. And although he does not completely understand what it is he's reading, as he looks at those words, it's like he's looking at a mirror of himself. And then Philip comes along and walks beside the carriage with the rest of the entourage. And the eunuch invites him up because he's got only one question. Who is this man? This mirror that knows me better than I know myself, who sees inside and around and behind what everyone else in the world sees and thinks they know about me. Who is this man? So that's why we're not going to talk about a church on the move tonight. And we're not going to talk about spirit-led. This is spirit leading, and it is a part of the church on the move. But I want to stop here. Because you know something, folks? You and I, we're Jenna. We are that wounded man. Longing for something more than a life that is just happy enough. And I think we all have that same question. Who is he? Come to church. You hear these words, and something strikes you. You're scrolling through your Facebook feed, and you come upon a live stream, and you forgot to turn down the volume, and you catch a couple of words, and it just stops you for a second, and so you stay here with us for a minute, and then 2, and then 3, because something's touched you on the inside. It's the Spirit of God working. And I don't know about you, but if you're like me, you got only one question. Who are they talking about? Who is this Lamb who goes forth uncomplaining, rejected and despised? This mirror that when I look at him, I see my own reflection. Philip's answer: it's not just a prophet, and it's not just a man. It is the God of all creation. It is the creator of all things. And because he has walked our way, he brings to your heart peace and hope and life. So you don't have to settle for what the world has for you. There's something greater. There's something more that will sustain you through any and every trial you will ever know, and will lift you up when all of the rest of the world would knock you down. Who is he? He's your friend. He is your Savior. Thanks be to God.